Right, good evening. I'm Councillor Stuart Jeffrey, Leader of the Council, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this meeting of the Cabinet. May I take this opportunity to advise you that if the fire alarm does sound, please remain seated, and members of the Democratic Services team will assess the situation and give further instructions on the evacuation of the building if necessary. Tonight's web proceedings will be webcast by the Council, but if anyone else is intending to record these proceedings, please let me know now. I ask this question not to stop you, but to merely ensure that members of the public, all of them, in the room know that this is taking place. Item 1, I've got apologies from Councillor Thompson. I think there are any others. Item 2 is urgent items, 2 urgent updates this evening. Summary of the feedback received from the Policy Advisory and Overview and Scrutiny Committees on agenda items, and an updated appendix to item 20, the Ashford Borough Council Draft Local Plan 2042, Reg 18 consultation, which includes several corrections to the document. Additionally, I would like to propose that item 7, minutes of the meeting held on 17th of September, be withdrawn from the agenda as they've already been approved. And with the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of October to be considered instead. Is that agreed? Excellent, because I don't want to approve the same minutes twice. Item 3, there are no visiting members. Don't think. Item 4, are there any disclosures by members and officers? Nope. Item 5, disclosures of lobbying. Are there any? No. Item 6, I move that all items be taken in public unless any Cabinet member wishes to refer to the information contained on the final item. 23, yes, item 23, thank you. Is that agreed? I move, therefore, that the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of October be approved as a correct record and signed. Is that agreed? Councillor, are you wanting to talk on? Seconding it, good. Is that agreed? Is that agreed? Excellent. Item 8, there are no petitions. Item 9, there are no questions from local residents. Item 10, there are no questions from members. Item 11, there are no matters referred to the Cabinet by another committee. Item 12, there are no issues arising from overview and scrutiny. Item 13, there are no matters referred to the Cabinet by another committee. Item 14, there are no matters relating to serious service failure or nuisance. And item 15, there are no receipts of written representations from members of the council. Item 16 is the forward plan. Do any members have any comments on the forward plan? Good. Okay. In that case, I move that the forward plan be noted. Lovely. Item 17, emerging proposals for a new local plan. Councillor Harwood.
Thank you, Chair. For brevity's sake, I will move the recommendations set out on page 20 of the report before you, but I would like to add a new number 5, and that fund number 5 will state a review of section 106 and community infrastructure levy be commenced as part of the new local plan production. And I think that will complement, because we cannot carry out that piece of work until we're into the new local plan period, and it seems neat and apt to do that. And I know that the Policy Advisory Committee were keen that we refreshed our Section 106 and SIL policies in line with the new plan, and that's appropriate. That's what we do anyway. So I just wanted it down in writing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to second that from the chair. I think it was overview and scrutiny that made the recommendation. Mr. Edgerton and Ms. Smith, would you like to add anything to the introduction?
There's certainly nothing to add from myself. I don't know about Mrs. Smith.
I don't think there's anything to add. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Excellent. Councillor English.
Having attended overview and scrutiny last night, where members gave this issue a fair discussion, and a lot of questions were asked, I think the amended recommendation will reflect what the overview and scrutiny committee were seeking, which was a commitment to look at this particular issue at the right and proper time, and that is a sensible course of action. The other recommendations from overview and scrutiny are pretty much in line with what is already on the papers. So I think the amended recommendation reflects what members of the council were seeking in the discussion yesterday.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? I've got one around the new supplementary plans. I think I'll put it to Mark. Clearly, the supplementary planning documents are on their way out, and supplementary plans are on the way in that are slightly stronger. It would be useful if you could just say a few words about how they differ from development DPDs, development planning documents, and whether DPDs are on their way out, and just to sort of give a sense of where they fall, because I couldn't quite get my head around the subtleties on that.
Thank you very much, Chair. That's yes, it's certainly an interesting question. Okay, so there is a little bit of detail to be added, I think, by the government, to say the least, in this regard. But let me give you an interpretation of what's being proposed. We are used to having supplementary planning documents, formerly supplementary planning guidance, and they sit below the policies. They don't create new policy, but they help to elaborate and provide extra detail on the existing policy framework. That's the current system, and in the new system there's going to be supplementary plans and there's going to be local guidance, is what we were being told. Local guidance will have less status than supplementary planning documents that exist now. They will just be sort of local guidance, if you like. Supplementary plans, well, the government have already indicated that some of the information in this regard. The first thing to say is that they will likely be area based. So they'll deal with specific sites or small areas within a borough, and they will provide detailed guidance still around what's aimed really at specific schemes. It could be 2 or 3 sites that are sort of co-joined or something like that, and they'll help bring those forwards. The only exception in that regard is regarding design, where the government have said that that can be whole borough based. So supplementary plans can therefore come forward on a whole borough basis as long as they're design related. The status they carry will still be as supplemental to a full local plan, but they may contain some policies and they will still need to go through Well, that's just jammed on that one. I do apologise. The speaker system has gone wrong there. So yeah, the supplementary plans themselves will still need to go through independent examination, according to the information that we have gleaned so far. So when you ask for clarity, I apologise, I can give you some, but it would appear that supplementary plans form some sort of hybrid between formal local plans and the full policy status they apply, and supplementary planning documents as we know it, somewhere in the middle, but normally area-based, containing some policies, independently examined unless they're designed, and they can also be full area as well. So watch this space in terms of emerging information from the government to help us out. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Edgerton. Okay, any other questions from the Cabinet? No, we've obviously got a proposal on the recommendations plus the additional one around SIL and Section 106. Are we agreed? I seconded it. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, item 18, the Gypsy Traveller and Travelling Show People DPT. Councillor Harwood.
Thank you, Chair. Again, for the Maidstone Traveller and Travelling Show People DPD, Preferred Policies and Potential Sites, Regulation 18C consultation, we have 2 recommendations on page 46, and I will move those as set out. Thank you.
Thank you. Clive's beat me to it. Seconded by Councillor English. Mr. Edgerton, is there anything you wanted to add in terms of the introduction, or?
Nothing really to add for myself. I don't know if Mrs. Smith has anything to add.
I think similar to the last item, I won't add anything further at the moment, but open for any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Okay, Cabinet, any questions? Councillor English.
Not a question, just a very simple statement. This isn't the New Jerusalem. It's not going to solve all of our issues in this particular respect, but nevertheless, it is an important piece of work to take forward. It will help in some respects, and is another piece of the jigsaw that needs to be put in place. There's still work to be done in this area, if you ask me, but that's outside of the scope of this particular document.
Thank you. If there's no one else, Councillor Harwood's proposed, Councillor English has seconded. Are we agreed with those recommendations? Excellent. So item 19, delivery of a pump track. Councillor English, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. This report represents an opportunity for the council to substantially improve its leisure offer, sporting offer, broadly defined, and also contribute, I think, to the borough's health. So it meets a lot of objectives. Clearly, there has been considerable discussion about how we bring forward these particular proposals. After the Cabinet meeting this morning, we have decided to suggest an amended recommendation, which I'm going to ask our indefatigable and very efficient clerk to read out. Olivia, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you. So there would be a change proposed to recommendation 1, which would now be that Willington Street be selected as a preferred location to be used as a pilot for a pump cycle track. And then recommendation 2 would be delegated authority be given to the Head of Public Realm and Environmental Services in consultation with the Cabinet Member for Environmental Services and Enforcement to select a second location for a pump cycle track dependent on the outcome of the pilot. And then recommendations 3, 4 and 5 would be the same as those already on the papers. Thank you.
I can add a small piece of explanation. There are some issues around both the South Park and Hermitage site, both of which do present significant opportunities, so we don't want to lose those. But the feeling of Cabinet is very much that we move forward with the project that is in our own ownership, first of all, and B, potentially has a significantly less awkward antisocial behaviour aspect to it. We can deliver, I think, at South Park, but it's going to need work. Similarly, Hermitage Quarry. site, we do not currently have surety of whether or not we can even secure the lease. So that's the reason for doing it in this way. But hopefully we can get at least 2 proposals, and if everything goes really well, I might even come back to you for a third.
Thank you, Councillor English. Just to clarify, not Hermitage Quarry, Hermitage Park. Sure, Mr. Gallagher wouldn't be, might not want the kids running around the quarry.
Sorry, I spent so long talking about that for years. You just slipped in there.
But yes, I mean, certainly I'm quite keen to get something over in the west of Maidstone, because our woodland seems to be turning into a makeshift pump track. Woodlands seem to be. So yes, that's very welcome, and I'm happy to second from the chair. Mr. Cornell, I think you're down as possibly adding to that. Is there anything you wanted to add? No. Any questions from the cabinet? No. Excellent. Okay. So we've got a proposal seconded. Are we happy to agree that? Agreed. Fantastic. Gosh, zooming through it, aren't we? Excellent. Compared to last week's cabinet meeting, this is going to be a slightly earlier finish with a bit of luck. 10:30 last week. Right. Item 20. This is the Ashford Borough Council consultation on their local plan, and Councillor Harwood, you're introducing this.
Thank you, Chair. They proposed response to the Ashford local plan consultation is set out on page 447 through to 450. It's had a good airing through Policy Advisory Committee, and I think it does pick up all of the issues where we are keen to suggest some tweaks to the evolving plan. So I would therefore move the recommendation on page 441 that Maidstone Borough Council's draft response to the Ashford Borough Council Local Plan Regulation 18 consultation be approved for submission to Ashford Borough Council. Thank you.
Can I just confirm, Councillor Harwood, that the urgent update version is the one we're approving,
Yes.
not the one in the papers, because there's some tweaks on there, a few minor tweaks on there. Is that second? Are you seconding, Councillor Summerskill? Okay. Do you want to go? You're seconding. Seconding by Councillor English, and then Councillor Summerskill.
Can I just ask what the changes?
Probably works. Yeah, there we go. What were the changes? Can I ask what were the changes in the urgent update? Because I'm struggling to see differences in it.
Tom, are you able to explain the tweaks that have been made to the in the urgent update, please?
Yes, certainly can. So in the changes were in the first paragraph, the last sentence was just removed because it wasn't adding clarity, and then under the environment section, the first bullet point we added "and Kent Nature Partnership commitment" to reflect that the Kent Nature Partnership supports the 20% biodiversity net gain as well. And then further down the document in the duty to cooperate section, 2 bullet points at the bottom of that page where it says page 9 and the following bullet point were removed because they were repeated above in the bullet pointed list. And then below that there was a section removed that was referring to the Kent Minerals and Waste plan, and there was we'd repeated some sections in the Gypsy Travel, and then there was an element of typo of Medway Council, so that's just been changed to Ashford Council. So they were the changes proposed.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the cabinet? Nope. Brilliant. Okay. Hopefully it's a very straightforward one. I think Councillor English seconded it. Are we agreed? Excellent, thank you. Right, item 21, Maidstone Town Centre shopfront. This would usually be Councillor Thompson, but he's not here, so I'll introduce it. This is rather exciting. We've got £150,000 to do some interesting stuff on the shop fronts in the town centre, to get some better looking, more in keeping with the feel of the town. We've got grants between 5 and 10 grand, with just 20% match funding required. So this feels really good. Mr. Cornell, is there anything you wanted to add on this? No? So I move the proposals on page, where are we? Oh gosh, I've lost the page numbers now. Off I've one. Oh yes, I keep looking over. So I move that. Yes, thank you. I was far ahead in the paper. So, yes, so I do move that the shop front improvement grant scheme and prospectus and timetable be approved. Tony, are you seconding that?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And Councillor Harwood.
Yes, thank you. I actually think that the shop front issue is a key part of the transformation of the town centre, because what we're seeing here, retail is changing, and those very utilitarian, lots of sheet glass frontages are very dated, and essentially we need to get back to quality and actually, dare I say, restore some of the lovely buildings in many cases which have been kind of wrecked by their lower floors. So I hope that the residents and will see a real improvement to the quality of the town centre coming through with the support and help of this grant initiative, which can only have a positive outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor English.
Shop fronts are quite literally shop fronts. They're important to attract people in, and it helps if they are attractive, well designed. It improves the overall ambience of a place, and that feeds into overall profitability in the long term, because it attracts the better sort of customer, if you want to put it that way. And improving the shop frontages is a good news story for Maidstone, for the people of Maidstone, the shoppers who come here, and most importantly of all, I suppose, for the businesses themselves. So this is a thoroughly good news story.
Yeah, and thank you for both those comments. And I think it adds to the work that we've been doing in the town centre, which has got quite a different feel over the last 18 months. Everything from the Green Flag Award in Brenchley through to the planting in Jubilee Square. So if there are no other comments, are we happy to agree that proposal? Brilliant. Excellent, thank you. Okay, look at that. Not even 7 o'clock. Final item. Shall we string this out? Yeah, okay. So item 22 is the farmers market. Again, town centre proposal that came through partly as a result of a motion. It was something that we were clearly quite considering anyway, so the motion was welcome in terms of gaining the wider council support, which I think is really positive. The proposals are as set out in the plan. Initially, a once a week market out in Jubilee Square, which will add to the feel of the town and hopefully bring in additional people to revitalise and continue that upward trajectory in terms of the town centre itself. So the reports for decision, there are 4 recommendations which I move. And would anyone like to add anything? Who's the second? It's Mr. Green, isn't it? Mike? No, it's Mike. Mr. Evans. Is there anything you wanted to add to the report? No. Okay, lovely. Can I have you seconding, or do you want to speak, or both? Go for it.
In line with keeping the good news coming, I think it's important that we do this for a number of reasons. First of all, to reinforce the viability of the town centre, one needs to do these sort of things and, shall we say, diversify the retail offer. That's important. It's also important to support local businesses, food producers and so on, which we have an opportunity doing here and promoting local produce. So I think this is hopefully going to be a successful initiative, but it is certainly worth pursuing because it is something that I think does have broad public support, and also certainly has broad support across all group parties in this council, and hopefully it will be a great success. But certainly we need to move forward and do what we can to make sure that happens, because towns that stand still in terms of what they offer in current rapidly moving circumstances are not standing still, we're moving backwards.
Thank you. Officers just reminded me, we discussed a further part to the recommendation, which was around noting that we note that the performance of Lock Meadow Market and Jubilee Square Market be kept under review by officers and the relevant cabinet member kept informed. Are you happy to add that as a final recommendation? Good. Councillor Summerskill, and I'm sure somebody else indicated, but maybe not. Councillor Summerskill.
Can I, sorry, just ask a technical question on the power supply upgrade? Is it going to several locations? Because obviously market units will have their own location, or is it going to a central stub from which they will take power supplies?
Thank you, Councillor Summerskill. So the existing infrastructure is several boxes in the ground that allow the power to be spread across multiple market stalls. So through our work, we will look at reinstating those, and then by all means, we can look at how far the budget can stretch for additional digging and excavating and putting more points in. But initially, it will be to reinstate what's there, make sure it can survive water ingress and the weight of vehicles being on top of it, to make sure it's kind of fit to last. And as Cabinet will note from the report, that work not only supports this market, but it supports any other events that are there where we currently have to have electricians on standby to make sure events don't fall over with electricity problems.
Okay, Councillor Nagy. Can you?
It's been going on for years and years. I thought it had been done years ago. Are we saying it's not been done and we're still running on the old stuff? Because I've sat through many a meeting when that was always going to be done, but it hasn't then. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Councillor Nagy, it hasn't been done. The cost of doing it at the time outweighed any opportunity for revenue. With this market, we've now got the revenue stream that would support that capital investment and deliver improved assets, but also a revenue stream that would pay for that work. So it's a bit of a win-win this time.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? In that case, we've got 6 recommendations. Councillor English seconded them. I proposed them. Are we agreed? Excellent. And it's just before 7. I now declare this meeting closed.